This is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Boadu TV. So you best say unsubscribe ya na wa subscribe my channel na oja o comment section na mu wi na wa share their social media platform so ede amaye na straightforward dem mo mu ewo abrantia wo journalist na odu Ghana airport so a wo di brekese pa ho Paul Adom Otchere na kache na wakasa de afa free senior high school a Ghana mampanyen de baye. In fact of a statement bia Manase Azuri ekochore social media so fa kwan mampanyen na nadoda kugufado NC say obakwan bia so the free SHS beba 2008 2007 okanya the 2008 elections afi when 2012 and so okanya the basa still no that's so gidi say oba or the free SHS beba now about 2017 or send you media say I say krom beba no the buy e mo nsem bebre ndc for kaya na nya dwuma de beye dwuma Manase Azuri cho hu nyina de buy Paul Adom Otchere so dwidwi mebrebrem ndc hu amane etie Dr. Stephen Atubiga one also founder at the Congress back na wachire mu am say minim say wadwane NPP dia e mu say mo bebre Paul Adom Otchere afaya won na yokuti bimbra.
I read this guy who said something very, very intelligent, man. Ghanaians are smart, Charlie. The guy said that, listen, he's against the law because parliamentarians are elected to solve problems. If traffic is a problem, they should be solving it. Why are they taking themselves out of the problem? That's what changed my mind, because I was going to come here to say that, viewers, please, let's listen to this again. These are not privileges that are being given to people in person. It's privileges that is going to the office holder. And an individual will not be an office holder in that regard forever. So I think that to promote their work, for whatever reason, let us understand these things. They are part of it's not a cost, but they are part of the burdens of democracy. They are part of the burdens of democracy because you've already given parliamentarian salary, you've given them cars. So if you add that they can drive faster to get to the place where they are going to, I think it is okay. Because that individual who is member of parliament today for Dodo may not be member of parliament tomorrow, and another person is member of parliament. So it's going to the office. Our respect for the parliamentary seats as the nominal parliamentary seats, the nominal constituency leaders, which is the chair. It's not a human being, it's the chair. That chair is occupied by a human being every 4 years. So I thought that was okay. But when I read this one, that they are truly elected to solve a problem. How do they confront a problem like traffic and then they extricate themselves from it and say the rest of you should go through it? That's where my mind changed. So this is what I think. The bill that goes to parliament should have been more comprehensive than just excluding MPs from doing this and that. I think the bill that goes to parliament should have included a certain solution to the traffic problem in Ghana. So within that broad context of solving the traffic problem in Ghana, you can isolate MPs and give them some privilege. But the general public would have seen that the MPs are beginning to sit down to think about the traffic problem. And we've been advocating this for a long time. It happens in some countries, particularly in the Asian countries. Why can't we have one-ways, roads that are one-ways in the morning and one-ways in the evening, and are dual between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock? So for those of you who live in Accra, if you live on Sprintex Road, for instance, I know many people do, or you live in Pantine or Doyumu, for instance, that's the Medina Legon Road into Accra. Sprintex is the Sprintex Road into Accra. Why don't we say that from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., that's a one-way? I know it's complicated, but if the parliament sits down with the MTTU, they can achieve it. As we say, it is possible. It is very possible. From Pantine, coming all the way into the Central Business District, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, it's a one-way. If you want to go to Pantine at that time of the day from this side, you would have to wind through Medina and pass through East Legon places and go and pass through. But they have to do a survey and understand that what's the percentage of traffic that is moving from Central Business District to Pantine between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock. You will find that the traffic is negligible. What's the percentage of traffic moving from this way to that way? You will find that is 96%. So why do we have an empty road? We have used money to build a road. It's there, it's empty. One car is passing on it every 15 minutes. Then you have the other side. We have also used money to build it. You have 1,000 cars on it in the same period. Why can't we have a situation where it is declared one way at this time? So at 10 o'clock, the police are there. They know how to do their work. They are very experienced. They are very, very competent. At 10 o'clock, the police do the runabout. It's back onto dual. From 4 o'clock, they begin to indicate that it's going to be blocked. It's now one way going to the other side. I think that will work. Sprintex, the same thing. Do it one way. I mean, what I'm saying is quite simplistic, I have to admit. I've not done any research. Very simplistic. But it's a starting point. We may think about this, and come to a certain conclusion. Maybe we won't do one way. But once we begin to think about it, something will happen. That's what human beings are there for. It is possible. Let's not say, no, let's not think about it. Let's think about it. So my problem with the honorables tonight is that when you were bringing the bill, you should have told Ghanaians that this is not just a bill for parliamentarians. This is a bill that is going to consider how to resolve the traffic problem. Those who live in Kumasi, the area from KNUST, coming all the way to the Central Business District. One side is full in the morning, the other side is full in the evening. Why don't you make it one way in here, one way out, 6 a.m. to 9:30, one way, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., one way. After that, it opens up again. And so when you want to go, you know that, hey, what's the time now? No, I can't go. Now there's out. I have to wait for 7 o'clock because the road is one way right now. And it will turn around again. If we do that as a minimal start, we're a country, we don't have money to build another road and to build another road and to build another road. But we can think. Money we don't have, but brain we have. We can think. Brain we don't buy. God has given it to us. And we have developed it through free SHS. We have developed our brain. So we can think. So that's my two persuasions on this matter. So initially I was going to say, well, why not? But now, my solution and Good Evening Ghana's solution is that let the MPs bring the bill back. But let the bill contain aspects that is going to show us how the MPs are dealing with the humongous traffic problem that every modern city faces, and Accra and Kumasi and Takoradi and Tamale are not exceptions at this time. All of them are facing that situation. So let the MPs think. So, Mr. Speaker, can you get your people? Yeah, like you put the speaker in the middle. That's better. Mr. Speaker, can you get your people to start looking at it? Alexander Fenyo-Markin, you are the leader of the House. Please put something together and let's see whether this will work. Okay. Hey, I can't see the names well. Okay, this is finance. Okay, trade and labor. Trade and labor is Kojo Botio. Kojo Botio is trade and labor over here. Finance is Bedema. Communication is Casely Hayford. Interior is Akwaje, who is considered as Nkrumah's godfather because he suggested the name to Dankwa, and then Dankwa wrote the letter to Nkrumah to come. Health was JH, I think is Brima. Education is JR, I can't see it well. Aaron Oforiata is local government. And then you have Works and Housing is N.A. Welbeck. Welbeck later became information minister. I remember him very well. And then you have Nkumsa, who was housing. Nkumsa was housing. He was also one of the old names that continued to endure for a very long time. And then you have Minister without portfolio, Krobo Edusei, one of the strong pillars in Ashanti region for the Osajifo. And then you have Minister for Agriculture, Esiabua Afari. He was the Minister for Agriculture. And then you have Minister without portfolio, Abavana. That's Ghana's first cabinet. And so if the point I'm making is that if we can't say that anybody has done better than Nkrumah, after Nkrumah there have been several leaders who have done longer. J.J. Rawlings ruled longer than Nkrumah. Achampon did almost about the same as Nkrumah. Others have come to do 8 years since Fourth Republic that we put together. And we can say that the Osajifo had 5 million Ghanaians to look after, and that he was able to look after the 5 million Ghanaians with resources of £600 that he inherited from the UK, and he was able to do that. Other heads of state, there's no other head of state who has received a positive bank balance for Ghana. Everybody has come in with a deficit, from Buzia to Achampon to Lehman to Rawlings to Kufuor to Mills. Everybody has come to government with a deficit. Nkrumah is the only one who came to government with £600 million of Ghana's money. That's how much he inherited. And by the time he was leaving, Ghana was in debt. So what do we do about this? It has to be a dispassionate discussion. It's not emotional about, well, we have to get emotional about it because Osajifo wrote Ghana's history. He wrote his history. Nothing against him. I'm just putting the records there. He wrote his own history, which is okay. Everybody writes. You heard them say that when the Lions, the day the Lions get their historians, and the story will change, because the story we have been hearing is the story of the hunter. And the story of the hunter is always that he killed a lion. But the Lions don't have historians, so they don't know, they don't have people who are writing their history. If the Lions were writing, they would have told us how many hunters they've eaten up, how many hunters they've defeated and collected their guns. But the Lions don't have historians. The Hunter is the one who was writing. Osagyefo is the one who documented most of the Ghana's history that we all know. It was written by him. No other person. He channeled it. Together with the BBC in the 50s, later in the 60s, when he went on exile, he still wrote. That's credits to him. He's a leader who was very prolific in writing. And we are missing that in this generation. We are missing leaders who are prolific with writing. So that's a good story. But he wrote the history, so he told the history himself. Now, if you look at the other parts of the history that he didn't tell us, this is one of them I'm going to share with you. This one is a book written by somebody from my former school, the School of Oriental and African Studies History Department at the University of London. And it is written by Barbara Bainey. Barbara Bainey writes the title, Kwame Nkrumah, An Intellectual Biography. And so Barbara Bainey is doing actually fidelity to most of the truth. Now, this is on page 180 of Barbara's book. It's as follows. Yet without question, quote, by 1965, Kwame Nkrumah often looked and acted like a tired man. The worries and pressures of office were taking their toll, and much of the distinctive vigor had gone out of some of his actions, claimed Bascha. Economically, the country's budget deficit had grievously expanded as the price of cocoa on the world market continued to decline. Dr. Jonathan Frimpong Ansah, the governor of the Bank of Ghana from 1965 to 1968, depicted the gravity of the economic situation. Now, viewers, hear this, and let's see it. This is what it is. By 1965, he said, it had become very desperate, and I remember we decided to write a memorandum to Nkrumah to tell him the true state of affairs of the economy. I had written that the reserves were only £500,000. He looked at me and said, you didn't check your typing. You've left a few zeros. I said, no, sir. There are no zeros left. This is £500,000. This is all we have in the banks overseas. And he sat back. And what he did then was that he went around the table and went to everyone who was seated there at the meeting and asked them. What did he ask them? Frimpong says we have £500,000. Is he right? Do you agree with him? And everyone said, yes. That was the first time the whole cabinet acknowledged to the president that Ghana was bankrupt. When Nkrumah heard this, he actually shed tears. He left us in the office in the cabinet room for half an hour. He broke down completely when he knew that Ghana was in fact poor. Nkrumah had been engaged in self-delusion as the economic realities of Ghana. This is fact. This is not fiction. This is fact. And the writer is not political. The writer is doing an intellectual biography. Okay, let's go on. Contributing to his considerable distress and sadness was the death earlier in the year of his arch-ideological opponent, Dr. J.B. Dankwa, who had died at 69 years of age in Nsawam Maximum Security Prison on 4th February 1965. So Kwame Nkrumah became Prime Minister of Ghana in 1951. And he inherited something in the region of 6 million pounds. 600 million it is, pounds. 200 to 600 million pounds. And by 1965, that money, which was in a positive balance for Ghana, had become 500,000 pounds. £500,000 left. Osagyefo didn't believe it when he was told. He said that, he told the Bank of Ghana governor that you've left some zeros out. Because he said 500,000. He thought it's 5 million or something like that. He said, oh, Charlie, you've left some zeros out. The guy said, I've not left any zeros out. This is a cabinet meeting, the highest decision-making body of Ghana. They met in the cabinet room at Jubilee House. And everybody was there, all the ministers were there. And Nkrumah went around the table and asked them that, Charlie, are you sure that what Frimpong is saying is correct? And they all said, yes, sir, it is correct. Why? Because the money had gone to Mali. So you see people have been posting posters of Nkrumah's statue in Mali, and they are excited about it. They are trying to tell people that you say Nkrumah is a nobody. Mali has put his statue there. Yes, Mali will put his statue there because he gave them money. He gave money to develop Mali, which is not that bad. He gave money to develop Guinea. These are the decisions that were made. That's Afro Bedema, the finance minister, fled the country, wrote a letter to Nkrumah and left. So I'm just saying that when we are evaluating leaders, let us take our time and stop this emotional thing and we don't like somebody, so when he says something, we are all running on him. These are the facts. And because they don't teach history anymore, after that one, it pains me more than anything else. The day I see J.J. Rawlings, I ask him, Why have you stopped? What happened? What went into the mind of the cabinet that we are stopping history? Because we don't learn history anymore. Students of economics history would have learned this by now. Economic history would have taught them this. Anyway, I'm being signaled at this time. I'm sure it will be on social media and we can debate it and debate it and debate it. So that's the book is by those who like books. The book is by Amma Barbara Biney. The thesis was submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy at the University of London in April 2007. This is a document that was submitted for a PhD thesis. University of London School of Oriental and African Studies History Department is entitled Kwame Nkrumah, an intellectual biography. Is by Barbara Amma Biney, a Ghanaian lady, and it was submitted to the School of Oriental and African Studies for a doctoral thesis in 2007 in history. President Mahama in the cartoon, Manasseh in the middle, and Samuel Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, on the right. And this is what we wrote. When a political campaign's claim to free SHS becomes ridiculous, their own media backers abandon them to keep what is left of their dignity and sanity. Even Manasseh Azuri says free SHS belongs to Nana Addo, now and evermore. Full analysis on the touchscreen tonight, so we're going to do with that. So you see, I'm just gratified and satisfied because I was quite concerned when A+ put up those things, and we have discussed that on this show, haven't we? And so when Manasseh wrote that, as for free SHS, media should not even be debating it. And that's the point I was making. You are a journalist. You are sitting at NDC presser. John Mahama says that he brought free SHS and you are clapping. I mean, what is the fourth estate for? What's the fourth estate for? If the fourth estate is not there to say that, hey, Mr. President, you can't say that, and you are clapping, what? Yeah, you can clap if John Mahama says, I will win the election. You are entitled to clap. You are an NDC. As John Mahama himself said, they are NDC journalists. He's going to let them be polling agents. You are an NDC sympathizer as a journalist. You can clap if John Mahama says, I'm going to win the election, even though at press conference, no journalist should clap. But it is worse when he's making a factual error, a falsity of a statement that free SHS was introduced by NDC and journalists were clapping. I mean, anyway. So Manasseh Azuri here has written this article that we're going to look at. It's quite well written. It's quite well written and the details are there. But we are happy that Manasseh Azuri has turned around to speak truth, you see, because sometimes some people, they don't speak truth all the time. But this is a very hard-hitting truth. And it is important. The most important thing he said in the article is that media should stop debating who brought free SHS. They should stop it. It's a needless... But that's what happens. When the NDC campaign is now making ridiculous claims, their most important supporters, like Manasseh Azuri, who wants to keep himself out of the ridiculous picture that the party is painting, he steps out and says, hey, please, please. Do you remember in 2016, when the Muntie 3 matter happened, President John Mahama's lawyer, Tony Letha, wrote a public letter to the president. He didn't give it to the president privately. He wrote a public letter to the president, said that, look, Mr. President, for my years at the bar, I think you should not take the decision to release the Muntie 3. Don't pander to the party pressure. Don't do it. Tony Letha wrote that. That's what happens. When positions of politicians are becoming ridiculous, even their most important people step away from it. When the position is becoming ridiculous, like I brought free SHS. Let's listen to Leo Kran just before we come here. May he rest in eternal peace. Leo Kran was a very forthright man, very, very sensible man. And he was a very experienced politician, an experienced corporate leader as well. He led Pepsi Cola, the company, for many, many years before he became a politician. May he rest in eternal peace. Uncle Leo Kran, this is what he said.
You say everybody should go to school for free, eat free, no fees. Parents, you don't pay anything. Even the students should come and eat.
An education minister for NDC, Leo Kran, he said that he has not heard some before. You say people should go to school free, and day students should come and eat. What are you talking about? Even in the communist world, you didn't get it. So he calls it communist utopia. For those of us who don't understand that, it just means that utopia is some great good that you cannot achieve. And he said that even within the communist context, you can't achieve that. It's utopian. Something utopian is something that is not achievable. It's nice, it's great, but it's not achievable. That's what he called free SHS. But today, John Mahama says that, and Jenano Pokwajiman, both presidential and vice presidential candidates on the NDC ticket say that free SHS was brought by them. Let's hear what Manasseh Azuri is saying. His question is, who started free SHS? He says, If there is one issue the media must stop debating, it is who started free SHS, free senior high school policy. There is nothing to debate about this, and the media should be able to point out the facts to whoever brings up that debate on their platforms. That's the part that I agree with him. Even though I know that he's trying to save what is left of his dignity and sanity, he doesn't want to be part of a ridiculous situation. He's saying the right thing. You are a journalist. You have been in this country, or if you have not been, you can read it out. A politician comes to hold a press conference and says, I started free SHS, and you are clapping. You are clapping that you started free SHS. When Akufo-Addo said he was bringing free SHS, one of the groups of people we have to give credit to is journalists. It's journalists and civil society who started punching Akufo-Addo. How are you going to pay for it? How is it going to work? What is going to be free? The tuition or what? PTA fees or what? And all that helped Akufo-Addo to put a serious team together that started working out the analysis. Imani will tell you how many morning breakfast meetings they had with Akufo-Addo discussing free SHS. CDD will tell you how many breakfast meetings they had with Akufo-Addo talking about and engaging on the free SHS. Akufo-Addo brought a policy. Civil society thought that, look, this policy is kind of interesting. Let's go and engage the man. Media were pounding Akufo-Addo every day. In fact, when the free SHS question was asked, he starts laughing because he knows it's going to come. He went to BBC Hard Talk. They pounded him with free SHS. This was a candidate in opposition, never been in government. For several years, he was talking about free SHS. Every day, they are pounding him. Congratulations to the media. Congratulations to civil society. I think together, you helped Akufo-Addo to hone the idea and make it very, very beautiful. And it's now a great idea that people who were opposed to it, people who sat in a room and designed advertising against it, now say that they own it. Let's move on. He said that will help the audience and give the media the space to discuss more important issues. Ghanaians started hearing about free SHS in 2008 when candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo devised it. Some civil society groups and individuals described it as populist and opposed to it. The opposition NDC and their candidates vehemently opposed it, saying they would go for quality and accessibility instead of free. Akufo-Addo stayed on his free SHS but lost the 2008 election. He kept faith with it, he kept faith in it, and lost in 2012. Then in 2015, when the NDC administration, led by John Mahama, realized that he still had not given up on free SHS, they decided to cripple that policy by implementing something that was an insult to the intelligence of Ghanaians. Here, I don't agree with Manasseh. The words he's used are very harsh and quite strong. He said, I mean, we know the story. The story is that Flight Lieutenant Rawlings told John Dramani Mahama that because you had won to, and I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. He said, Mr. Mahama, you have won the elections of 2008, but free SHS won the campaign. And that's a seasoned politician's talk. When a politician is talking like that, that's a very, very seasoned politician. You don't get many politicians saying that, distinguishing between the one who won the election and the one and what won the campaign. Sometimes the same person. Same person wins the campaign, same person wins the election. But often it's not the same person. Something wins the campaign and the candidate wins the election. So JJ was telling him that free SHS won the campaign, but you won the election. If you don't implement free SHS and the MPP come to power someday and they implement it, free SHS will hunt the NDC for many election cycles to come. This was Flight Lieutenant Rawlings to President Mahama. And we believe that after that, President Mahama decided that he will do something about it. But what he did was not free. He asked day students to stop paying tuition fees. Stop paying 40% of the fees. What is free about that? That is a fee reduction. So the NDC can say that we started reducing the fees. Yes, you can say that. But to say free, it cannot be the NDC. They started reducing fees. Fair enough. But the free is not them. Okay, let's move on. In September 2015, I wrote an article titled, "The Lies About Mahama's Free SHS Policy." And this paragraph from that article shows the deception that the government introduced ostensibly to undermine the Akufo-Addo's free SHS. Quote, he's quoting from his old article. The government says that 12.2 million has been released to implement the program for the first term of 2015-2016 academic year. The policy will benefit 320,000 students. This means that in a term, each student will only benefit from 38 cedis. 38 cedis is how much each student will benefit from this policy. Ask the SHS students how much each student pays for PTA dues alone, not to talk about other fees per semester. Oh, okay. Quite well written. That's the point I was making about reducing it. This is what Mahama administration did. And nobody could call that free SHS. When Akufo-Addo took office in 2017, he launched the free SHS in September of that year. It was the first time secondary education in Ghana was truly free in recent history. I add, for first-year students only at the time. Let's move on. Mahama and the NDC cannot claim free SHS. They did not start it. Even the Northern Scholarship Scheme that has started in Nkrumah's days suffered from funding, and schools in the North were often closed or reopened late when Mahama was president. This was one of the issues that worked against the Mahama campaign in northern Ghana, when the NDC said he was one of their own. These facts are well documented, and the media should remind the NDC of this. As I've stated elsewhere, free SHS is one political promise that has been implemented with admirable sincerity. If Akufo-Addo just wanted to tick a political box, he could have waited and implemented it in the third year. However, he started it in the same year he took office, when some people in his government said he should have waited until the economy stabilized. All that Manasseh is saying is true. And some of us got information straight from that very feisty cabinet meeting, where the president told his cabinet that, look, I am going with free SHS, whether people like it or not. Because there were some important members of his cabinet who said, Mr. President, you can't. And you see, this issue about free SHS being implemented as a political promise, I keep saying that Akufo-Addo restored the dignity to politicians, because Ghanaian politicians were now looked down upon when they promise. Because they promise, nothing happens. So we all know that if a politician is saying he will do something, he is lying, it's just populist, he's just talking. But it was Akufo-Addo who changed that dynamics. And therefore, President Mahama was able to promise in 2020. He couldn't promise in 2016. Nobody could promise in 2012. Akufo-Addo was the only one mounting the promising boat. Only him was promising. And he said, I will do it for the Ghanaian people. And the reason why I like free SHS is that every politician does something, you see. But free SHS is something a politician cannot benefit from. I'll tell you why. If I'm a politician and I construct roads for the people, and I give a road contractor contract, what happens is that often the road contractor will come and say thank you to me, and he'll give me something. So if you do roads, you may benefit as a politician. But free SHS, you are telling the teacher that he shouldn't take money from the people for school fees. You are going to pay the school fees to the school. Is it the school fees you are going to pay to the school that he's going to give you a kickback? No. So free SHS is a policy that the politician cannot benefit. And this is Akufo-Addo implementing it. That's a genuine politician. A politician who does not want to steal your money is the one who will say that take the taxpayers' money, give it to them, let them pay the school fees. Take the taxpayers' money, pay the school fees of 1 million Ghanaians. Are you going to take kickback from PRESEC? That PRESEC, I pay school fees for 100 people. It is 2 million. So what are you doing with me? What are you doing with me? You can't say that, because PRESEC will tell you, hey, the 2 million is not rich, we need more rice bags for the students. So it is only a politician who has a heart for the Ghanaian people who will say that I have control over taxpayers' money. I can do anything with it for the next 4 years. I will take the taxpayers' money and pay the school fees of the children. That's a genuine African politician. Not many. You will not find that in many places. The greatest Kwame Nkrumah implemented free SHS in the Northern Territories alone. He inherited hundreds of millions of pounds from the British people. He did not implement free SHS across the whole country. 5 million people. 5 million people. Today, Akufo-Addo has educated over 2 million people. Nearly half of the population of at Nkrumah's time. Akufo-Addo has educated on free SHS. Nearly half of the population in Nkrumah's time. 5 million people. I don't know how many were going to secondary school at the time, but the total population was 5 million. And Nkrumah had hundreds of millions of pounds. He did not say free SHS throughout the whole country, he said only in the Northern Territories. Akufo-Addo comes, inherits a deficit, huge budget deficit, huge debt, says that free SHS across everywhere. He doesn't end there. He says day students will have dining hall built. Aquinas, I pass there every day. They were building dining hall. They finished building it. Now the dining hall is there. At 2 o'clock, Aquinas secondary school boys go and eat at the dining hall, and then they are on the road. They are going home. That's a politician whose legacy will be enduring. Whatever you want to say about Akufo-Addo, free SHS will make his legacy enduring. And that's why I support him. As I've stated elsewhere, free SHS is one political promise that has been implemented with admirable sincerity. Okay, we read that already. Even if the policy fails, I will still credit the president for his honesty in the implementation. The free SHS has its problems. Some of us believe that many beneficiaries do not need it. Yes, true. This is what I mean. Without the Northern Scholarship Scheme, which offered free SHS to children of Northern Ghana, my 10 siblings and I may not have been able to attend high school. Hey, Manasseh, your siblings are 10, so you people are 11. That's a football team. Oh. Charlie, your father is a very strong man. Man, I didn't know that. Greetings to the old man, Manasseh, if he's still alive, greetings to him. Charlie, the guy is brutal. 11 children. Oh, wow, wow. Please, viewers, clap for Manasseh's father. He has 11 children. My 10 siblings and I may not have been able to attend high school, but almost all my siblings and I, who are old enough to be parents, will not need the government to pay fees for our wards. Great. I will want to pay fees for my children so that the government can concentrate on building infrastructure and supporting those who cannot pay. The infrastructure challenges have resulted in double track, which kept some children home for most of the academic year. Their parents had to pay tuition fees to keep them busy, sometimes more expensive than the fees they would have paid at free SHS. That's also true. Despite the problems with this implementation, President Akufo-Addo has been honest with Ghanaians. Those who said it was impossible should not be allowed to spend precious time on radio and TV engaging in needless debate. This language is nice. It's saying the same thing, but it's not as harsh. It says those who said it is impossible should not be allowed, they shouldn't be allowed to spend precious time on radio and television engaging in needless debates. If the NDC had any good political strategies, they would be advised to stay off free SHS debate. I agree with that. Samuel Jemfi, are you listening? Samuel Jemfi, the propaganda secretary of the National Democratic Congress, your partner and friend, Manasseh Azuri, who is in the same camp as you. You are all in the blue corner. No, blue is MPP. You're all in the green corner. He's telling you, he's talking about you. He says that if the NDC had any good political strategies, I've been screaming here about who is advising President Mahama. I've been saying it and saying it and saying it. Who is advising President Mahama? Dr. Mani Boama, Joyce Bawa Montgari, Samuel Jemfi, Samuel Nate George, all of you who have been advising President Mahama. Manasseh is saying something that I have been saying for a very, very long time. He's asking the question, if NDC had any good political strategy, he's suggesting that there's no good political strategist around President Mahama. I'm not saying that yet. I'm just wondering, what information do you base your advice on? The advice you give President Mahama, they say that an opinion cannot be better than the information upon which it's based. So what information do you base your advice on to give to President Mahama? Because almost all the time, when President Mahama has been advised, you see that there's something missing in the advice. That's what Manasseh is saying. That if they had any good political strategy, they would know that they should stay off free SHS debate. That was what drowned the NDC in 2020. The last minute of the campaign, the NDC stoked the free SHS debate, which stayed on people's minds when they voted. Some parents will not have been able to take their children to senior high school had it not been Akufo-Addo's free SHS. Such parents are eternally grateful to him. To some, that is the only benefit they have received from the government in their lifetime. Correct. Their loyalty to the party that brought that policy cannot be questioned. So you don't remind them about your opponent's most outstanding achievement when convincing them to vote for you. The NDC must not assume that the voters are too stupid to remember when they were asked not to pay fees for their children entering high school. Despite being needless, this debate benefits the MPP, for it is the most tangible social intervention in recent times that has affected many Ghanaians. If voters can be influenced to vote for a particular party with 10 cedis, I think about those who save thousands of cedis, thousands of Ghana cedis because of Akufo-Addo's free SHS. They may have other issues with the government, but the more you talk about free SHS, the more you remind them of the reason to vote for the MPP. That's not a good strategy for the NDC. A word to the wise. Manasseh is advising the NDC. Samuel Jemfi, they say that the work you are doing, you don't know how to do it at all. But everything he's saying is right. But Manasseh, why are you worried? It is because they have not developed something to say. They haven't, they held, Manasseh, did you watch? They held a press conference without talking about energy. The next day, John Jinapor was on Adom, talking about energy as one of the NDC priority positions. John Jinapor was not at the press conference. I didn't see him there. Maybe he was, but I didn't see him. And they held an entire press conference and they didn't say anything about energy. Energy, at least, is where the NDC can compete with the MPP. They can say that, okay, you say I brought doom, so you to there was doom, so I added capacity. I did Atuabo, I did the NDC have something to say. And as I said, President Mahama is the only president in the Fourth Republic whose governance has been defined by education and energy. His government has been defined by energy. So how does he conduct a press conference during a second term bid post-presidency for the presidential chair, and he is not able to talk about energy? He didn't forget, somebody who is advising him on strategy failed President Mahama so badly on that Sunday evening. Somebody failed him, and he must find out who that person is and get things started working again, because we need a great campaign from both sides. Dr. Bawumia is on the campaign fireworks. It's going on in Bimbela, it's going on in Binduri, it's going on in Kasana Nankana, is going on everywhere. Check your phone, check the videos. They are on the campaign. And guess who is with Dr. Bawumia? Kwabene Japan is with him. All the MPP big wigs, they are thinking, they are talking, they are pressing flesh, they are working hard to make it possible. Because they are coming from behind. John Mahama is in the lead. So they are working to make it possible. They have a lot to say, and they are saying it. And you don't take that. I said this here before many years ago. The New Patriotic Party is a juggernaut and it's a behemoth. If you think that it doesn't exist, go and ask the NLM people. They will teach you that it exists. Because you see, they are philosophically tied in a certain way. They have a certain philosophical DNA running through them. So they are a behemoth and a juggernaut. They are not very simple to defeat. Go and ask Professor Mills in 2008. Ask Kojo Chubwa in 2008. They remember what it took to defeat a divided MPP. 2008 was a divided MPP. Even with that, Stephen Atubiga, Honorable, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
I'm very grateful for that.
Where have you been? Have you been to the north? Where have you been?
Yes, I've in and out of the north and other places. My party, we are working on the ground, the structures, putting our...
So you are the presidential candidate?
No, I'm just the founder, and then people will contest, just as...
Are you contesting as well?
I will, I can't say, I'm not desperate to lead the NLC, because there are people behind that are bigger than me that I think they wear a certain face that I think they will be more appealing for us to get more votes from within our party than myself. So
okay,
when they give me the opportunity to leave, I'll be grateful, but it's not compulsory.
Okay, let's get started. Let's get started.
And good evening to your viewers.
Your brother John Mahama, President Mahama, held a press conference the other day. What did you make of it?
You see, when you are privileged to be made a leader of a political party, you are the one who wants to be a president. The responsibility of making sure that the direction of the... Look, your responsibility of making sure the decisions that are taken in the interest of you winning the power first, because the party brands you. We are a social democratic party, socialist. Then we go and rent a place, Kimpiski, where an average foot soldier in the NDC, an average grassroots person cannot afford to buy water. So if you are there, if you go and rent a place at Kimpiski to go and chastise a party that we call a capitalist, especially you want to chastise them for value for money, then you go and spend that amount of money to be at a location that doesn't relate to your grassroots, doesn't relate to the party's principles and ideology. There are so many places, because you go to the trenches.
So your problem is the location of the...
The location is very bad. It doesn't represent us. It doesn't represent socialists.
Where should they have done it? There's an NDC have headquarters.
Yeah, the NDC has an head.
There's also the GJ.
Thank you, press center. And there are communities. We go to community centers and places that relate. I'm talking about the NDC is much more related to the to the nobodies. I'm talking about the Zongo communities and what have you. If it's the socialists, I mean those are the. But you are living a lifestyle. You go there like a movie stars, or you go there like you're going to launch something more. You are in opposition, and you are leading the party like you are in government. Look at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, okay? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is running his campaign like somebody who is in opposition, who now wants to taste power. If you look at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's strategy, he's reaching to the grassroots and putting himself, are you getting me? Look at the caliber of people that were sitting there. And most of the grassroots people who called me, that even they're dressing at all, they were turning them back.
Oh, at the campus?
Yes, most of them.
I don't believe that.
I'm telling you.
Why are they turning them away?
Because the way they dress, the way they look, they are poor, and we believe that the NDC is for the poor. And then, at the same time, the amount of money that to buy water at the Kimpiski, we know it's between 20 to 30 cedis to 40 per bottle of water over there in Kimpiski. And I'm saying that an average food soldier today, they call me and cry, they want 20 cedis for food. 20 Ghana is how do you call it? It's a chop money, feeding fee for a family in villages, a lot of villages. So if you are privileged, John Dramani Mahama is an experienced politician who has been a president before. And as a former president, if you turn around and everybody is doing yes, master, yes, master, yes, master, there's nobody to tell the boss. As a former president who should be speaking with experience, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has never been a president before. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been able to purge himself. In the first time in the history of this country, we have a sitting running mate, a sitting vice president, who is bold enough to tell Ghanaians that, look, this is my boss, the sitting president, President Nanado, who gave me the privilege opportunity to be a running mate. Today I'm a president. But I am boldly telling you Ghanaians that when I get the opportunity, I will do things differently from my boss. It has never happened in this country. All vice presidents or running mates speak in praising their the sitting president or the opposition leader who gave the opportunity. That's a sincerity. So he has purged himself. When John Dramani Mahama talking about free SH and water, I'm just giving an example. For instance, how come a former sitting president, your people allow you to go out and say, if I become a president, I'm going to do farming for the NDC people, I'll do the poultry and what have you. Remember that it takes more than a particular party to get votes. You are going to be a president for all. It is your party chairman, the general secretaries of the party, they will make those statements. And then maybe you come out as, look, as a president, I don't think I will condone doing poultry and chairman and co. I get him as an experienced former a formal defeated sitting president with all the experience. And at the same time, you are not how do you call it? You are a historian, okay, my big brother. So if you want to choose a running mate, you have to be more tactical and look at what is the running mate bringing on board. Is the running mate going to bring me votes? Is the running mate going to balance my equation? Where MPP finds itself today is different from where the NDC finds itself. And the most difficult candidate to sell in any political atmosphere or scenario is a defeated former sitting president coming back.
Are you sure? How do you know that?
Look, go look throughout the whole world. It is few former defeated presidents that have been able to win again. Because internally, for instance, the NDC, John Dramani Mahama's loss haul has been orchestrated internally. All his defeats from 2012, from 2016, okay?
How is he orchestrated internally?
Oh, we have there's always an intent. At this moment, the NDC hasn't got strikers. It's defeated, the cracks, NDC has defeated itself already in this election. There's no formidable force. There's power blocks. People have been left behind. And I dare anybody to call me today on this studio and disgrace me that when have they ever seen some of the stakeholders, the former presidential candidates, leadership of the party, and then I'm going to use, what's his name, late E.T. Mensah's level, have come to any studio of they bought airtime, they've gone to say, vote for the NDC, vote for us. That's why the running mate has deepened the crack.
If you I don't understand. Why is the running mate choice wrong? It's a gender.
Very wrong. Very wrong. Look,
because the personality is wrong, or that the gender choice
as
is
wrong? As a defeated former city president who wants to win power, your running mate has to be very strategic. For instance, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who represents the Dombo, he knows very well that as a Northerner, he carries the Northerner. That's what he brings on the table besides his experience. And at the same time, choosing a running mate, you choose a running mate at the heartbeat of the party, whereby irrespective of the flaws, the action and inaction of the party, people will follow the party in the interest of the party, because at the end of the day, it is the party that wins an election. And in this country, it is not a good performance or bad performance of a government that wins an election. It is the structure of your party. And on election day, it is not government structures, it is party structure. And on election day, there is no your friend, there's no formality. Okay, it is strategy. So Dr. Mahmoud Mohammed smartly, if he had gone for my mother, chief of staff, it would have been strategic if they wanted to go with a woman. The first female chief of staff in the country and the first female chief of staff that has given their party the second nod, because it takes a best chief of staff to be able to win an election
with a second term.
With a second term, because all the structures to national security, whatever, to the party structure is the chief of staff that sit at her office, encourage the president's weaknesses, and crack the whip and make sure all structures work. That's her office plays that role. And I'm sure Dr. Boadu realized that I need such a woman to be able to crack the whip for me. So let me go and bring an experienced person like Napo, who is not only an individual, but brings on board all the structures of the party where the party's umbilical cord is being cut, which is the royal of the Ashantis. And a person too that can disseminate Alan, who is an old axe, that would have eaten in the same bowl with them. So immediately you bring such a person, the royals and the Ashanti, they will put the interests of the MPP first than Alan individual, and choose Napo. And the day Napo too is not an ordinary politician. He's a politician that has handled the heartbeat position of this country, which is the energy sector.
Yes, and education.
And education. And he has paid his dues in the party. So bringing Napo, and the circumstances that my big brother also chose I call her my auntie, very beautiful, very intelligent.
Professor Jane.
Professor Jane Nana. She has everything to be a running mate or a president. But the season and the situation and the position where the NDC finds itself, she does not cut it at that moment. If you compare she, right now, where she finds herself, for instance, Dr. Mahmoud Mohammed is an economist. She has brought in Napo, who also brings certain experience. Now, when they are talking about it, my big brother, if there's a debate today between John Dramani Mahama and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, while Mahmoud Mohammed will be talking economics and using the economic jargons and what have you, my big brother will be surviving and breathing on his experience. I get him.
Yes.
So you need a running mate who also has such charisma, who would have been somebody from a backyard that, because if you look at her backyard, MPP won. Okay? She is not also a grassroots person. She doesn't appeal, and the NDC has never also won an election with the same running mate. That is why they changed, because of the blocks. Remember, our party is not like the NDC MPP. Our party, any card-bearing member is a stakeholder. So when they have the blocks and they come together, any running mate that you keep rotating, the others work because they know it will get to their turn. And then the betrayal of former President Atta Mills, going one term, and the Ahoys pushed him to go, which it was a betrayal to Nana Kunedu, because Nana Kunedu was to take over immediately. Are you getting me? The old guys bringing the woman, age is not on their side. I'm talking the presidential aspirant who won. Age is not on their side, and they believe that John Mahama bringing her and doing one term, the woman may take over. That is why everybody has folded, you have quelled, you see there's no activity in there. And at the same time, the woman, the fact that the Ahoys came out and said they brought her, it's like they handed over the woman to President, my big brother John Dramani Mahama, like a newborn baby that is a surrogate mother, right? Surrogate mother is, they give birth, you carry
somebody else, yeah.
Yes, so it's like, come and take your child, here is it. But look at how they chose Napo, the national security. You can have a national security opposition. You have Governor Latte and Co. The party.
You can let them do a research.
Yes, research.
But NDC has been doing research. They've been doing some.
Yes, but I'm saying that they failed on the woman is not popular. Look at, now you have the candidate, John Dramani Mahama has gone to Russia. And that has also been a problem, that they didn't inform the party structure. They were not aware he goes where he wants. But I personally, I can vouch anywhere. Members of parliament are complaining that he's not accessible. Stakeholders are complaining that he's not. And as an opposition, you want power. The best place as a candidate to sit, maybe 2 days in a week, you are the party headquarters. That is the place that belongs to the party members, our dues. They can come and talk to you. Your private office sitting there, the security over there. If you don't have an appointment, they don't judge. I mean, they look at your structure or whatever, they turn you down.
Your structure.
Yeah, I mean your structure, how you dress,
how tall you are,
who your name.
So if you are tall, you can see him.
So let's say somebody comes from Brunkuru or somebody comes from the Volta region with. Do you know what this country would have been if John Dramani Mahama had gone with Julius Debra, Uwadako, Betty Mould, Brew, the former Attorney General, or Jurasa?
Jurasa was on the cards?
Yes.
Alex Mould?
Imagine if he had gone.
Joshua Alabi?
Yes, Joshua Alabi.
Yeah.
And then Sylvester Mensah, who cut between the gun and whatever. Spio Gabra. And do you know what would have happened?
I mean, I think that would be a formidable
We wouldn't have
ticket.
put our hands on the head like today that they have brought Napo, and Napo is like Cavasia, Johnny Walker, and then my mother is now looking like palm wine. I get that. That's the best quality, like a palm wine tapper. That is the best quality. There is no style. There is no zeal. There is no, something is not moving. The day they mentioned Napo's name, my brother, shiver, we said, it is done. I get him. It is finished. Those were the languages. And they imagine they put Napo and Nana, that they should debate.
On education.
On education. I know she's an educationist, she can do well, but in politics, it is beyond education. Your relationship with the people. And I tell ministers, like Kosichum, the best education minister that we've ever had in this country that I can vouch for. But when he got the opportunity, he didn't go around, as a politician.
Who are you talking about?
Because current education minister, what's his name?
Educhum.
Educhum.
Yes, Educhum.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
If they make you in any position, irrespective of the position that you hold as a minister, it's a step of either being running mate or a step of being a president.
Yes.
Okay. So you take advantage. You visit the whole country.
He didn't do it.
If you visit the whole country, you're on the ground. When you get your party people, and that is what made Napo who he is today as an energy minister. He went to places that matter. He visited the northern sector, what have you. And as he was doing official work, of course, it is a party that gives birth to a government. So when a party gives birth to a government and you get the opportunity for the president to give you parts and parcel of his authority or his powers for you to go and help him deliver good governance, you have the responsibility of using those powers to make sure that you make the president deliver good governance. If those appointees fail the president, you fail the president by being that you are a boss. You don't respect, for the fact that they made you a minister, you think they are the smartest person. You don't respect the party structure. You don't respect the grassroots. Senior, are you getting me?
Yeah.
You don't do. But honestly, I tell my NDC people, President Nanado will be remembered in this country, whether we like it or not, for implementing free senior high school in this country.
Yes.
We should give, look, when the ferry has his truth, give him his truthness and let him go back to the bush. I hear my NDC people saying that we've won already. Do you know they already shared positions? They shared cabinet positions were already.
Who's going to information?
I forgot, but I know Standogwe is supposed to be chief of staff. I've told in the list, and this is a factual list that was submitted.
How do you know it's factual? Maybe it's fake.
No, it's not fake. Trust me, it's not fake. We are a breakaway of the party. So our mother party, and some of our members are still in there. And I want to set the record straight today. We broke out of the NDC to be able to hold them accountable, their actions and inactions. We did not form NDC to come and chastise any. We want to use it to fix it's like moving from your father's house to build your own house and holding your brothers accountable for not making the house what it's supposed to be. And NLC will be irrelevant if we are not then we should have stayed there to rot with them if we cannot criticize home. And charity begins at home. Now, we want the NDC to understand that Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is not an ordinary potato that you think we've already won. This is a man that, in this country, Muslims, and other traditional religious bodies have been very loyal and honest with Christians. I'm talking about both revolution and democratical rules. We've supported that system that Christians have ruled. So Dr. Mahmoud Baumia today being a Muslim, me being a Muslim today, we have the right. We are the only people that have the right to also go to the Christian fraternity and make a case that, look, we've been loyal and faithful to you people, Christians, both democratic and revolutionary rules. Christians, Muslim, we've served you, we've been very loyal. So we are pleading, not that we have that right, But we are pleading that also give us the opportunity for the first time for us to also rule this country. Because Fifi Kote and Alan and Co statements have triggered the Muslims to now say, oh, is that how they look at us? So the Christians, we have been supporting, are you getting me? And it's a very dangerous statement for Alan and Fifi to have made those statements. A Muslim cannot be president. Alan going to a very big church that they should make sure that it is a Christian that is elected a president. And that has put an invisible fear in most Christians that I talk to, that my brother, such statement, what is happening in Nigeria, that Muslims can just, are you getting me? So looking at the other side of making sure that Ghanaians will know that, okay, this tribe or this religion have been very faithful and honest with our loyal. Let's also give them the opportunity to also rule this country. And when you go around, Muslims are saying that, some are saying, look, I'm NDC, I'm not MPP. For the fact that I'll also see my Quran also being lifted up for the first time.
Yes.
At
the Independence Square.
My brother, have you seen the crowd at the north?
But Dr. Bawumia lifted up the Quran when he was taking the oath of vice president.
But they don't vote for running mates. Look, and put me on record. The Akans and the Ashantis, they own this country. Northerners bringing us on board, whether you like it or not. They are bringing us on board to come and balance an equation. Are you getting me? Any successful Northerner or any, whether businessman or politician, it is an Akan that makes us. And when you also get the opportunity, this is the time that John Dramani Mahama was enjoying monopoly. My big brother, as the first Northerner to have led this country, to open doors after...
No, Liman was the
No,
first.
Liman failed us. I'm talking about after 40 years.
Okay. All right.
Dr. John Dramani Mahama
yeah.
is the first, after 40 years, the first Northerner that has been given opportunity to lead us, to open doors, both NDC, MP, every Northerner to have hope. Are you getting me? And then he did what he had to do. And then there's another Dombo, 50 years, that gave birth to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And Northerners are not taking it for granted. They've tasted John Dramani Mahama's leadership.
One NDC person told me that
Yes.
I should talk to the MP people because they are doing a very dirty campaign in the north. So I asked him that, what's the campaign? Why is it dirty? He said, do you know what they are telling the northern people? They are telling them that, look, Liman was brought by Moro Igala.
Thank you, because he was
And because
corruption.
of that, the majority Ashantis didn't support
Thank
Liman.
you.
Then
Thank
he
you.
failed.
Thank you.
John Mahama was brought by the Fantis.
Yes.
And because of that, the Ashantis didn't support. You see
Good.
what Bawumia has done?
Good.
He's going to get the support of the Ashantis because they brought him.
Thank you.
So he will be
Thank
successful.
you.
So
Thank
rather
you.
vote for him.
Yes.
He will definitely do
Yes.
2 terms.
Thank you.
Because they will make sure
And
he
the
does 2
Northerners
terms.
who are supposed to support John Dramani Mahama, he has allowed the Northerners to be run down by Fifi Kote in the party that today there is no any credible Northerner left. That is why John Dramani Mahama keep making those uncalled for statements, because there is no, when Harun Edrisu and Co, Mutaka and Co, or other Nosa would have told, my brother, don't say this. Don't say that.
Yeah,
don't
that's
do this.
true. Haruna would have told Fifi,
Yes.
you can't say that.
Yes.
So he
they-
understands
So
northern
at
politics.
this moment, my brother never protected his own. And if you look
But
at
Alhaji Hudu Yaya is there.
Oh, Hudi Yaya, you see, knowing my big brother Hudi Yaya very well, you know he's married to John Dramani Mahama's direct sister, one father, one mother. And Hudi Yaya is not the kind that is very out there. I get him. He's very...
He's an important member of the
Yes,
party. The
but
first
they are
general
not using
secretary.
them. They are not using them. That's
Who's
why
not using them?
That's John Dramani Mahama. If he had called, look, President Kufuor, it is the Ashantis that made it. Look, you bathe your child, let the child look good, and bring the child, and the others will embrace.
yeah.
So if you look at President Kufuor, the Ashantis gave him 100%. Former President Rollins, the Ewes all collectively gave it, and then they embraced. President Nanado, the Akans and all gave, so as President Kufuor. Then John Dramani Mahama. Now you are going to split. That's he and a very experienced president.
No, but the NDC will win the north. They believe they will win all the northern seats.
Did you see the crowd?
Where?
If look at from Wali to Tamale area, where the vice, I'm talking about have they seen the crowd?
I saw Bimbila.
Yes, look at Bimbila. My mother is
Little knows how to organize.
my mother is
these things.
Konkomba.
Yes.
Okay, from those areas, from Bunchiritanga, and I know all those areas. Majority of them used to be NDC. Today they have turned.
Are you sure?
Yes. Look, they
So
can.
we should be expecting different
I'm
results
telling you,
from
because
Kokomba.
we didn't use them when they've been loyal. They felt that they didn't use them. The Konkombe started complaining, and Moses Mabingbe was sent as an ambassador. Sent as ambassador, you cannot help the people. Then we went and brought the PNC man to come and be the deputy chief of staff last minute.
That's Prosper.
No, not Prosper. There's the deputy chief of staff that they brought last, who is
Oh, deputy chief of staff. Okay.
yes, before we went to opposition. And he's a so they were peeved. So Harun Edrusu arranged and made sure that they brought a Konkomba man, his sponsor, to come and be the regional chairman, the
Of
Basa
NDC.
at the northern region. So this was then such a person, John Dramani Mahama, you want to be president. You've allowed all your northern brothers, including us, who put our neck on the table, chopped, you folded. They've run everything that now you are alone. For the first time in the history of this country, the party is choosing your campaign team. Always you hear the president.
Which party chose his campaign team?
John Dramani Mahama.
How do you know the party chose his
Because
campaign
always
team?
our norm of NDC is the president nominates his own campaign team
Yes,
and
everywhere.
announces from the president office.
Yes.
This time it wasn't like that.
Well, but I'm sure President Mahama.
But it is wrong. That is not the norm.
I'm sure he gave the list.
But he wants to be. It shows that you are not independent. Then you boastfully, the Ahoys come to say, let me ask you an example. If you look at the campaign list, you remove Kwesi Ahoy there because he was a threat to you. Remember, he was a threat to you from
yes.
Interior Minister to Ambassador. Because you remember at those days that Tamils was sick, it was Harun
There was some
Edrisu.
rumor in there, yes.
It was Harun Edrisu and Kwesi Ahoy's ticket that was brewing.
Yes,
and
yes.
that is where then.
But that's a strong ticket, I have to say.
Yes,
Ahoy, Harun Edrisu
yes.
is a
And
strong
then
ticket.
Bovlo Latte was felt to be so strong that he had to get rid of him. So, and if I'm John Dramani Mahama, I would have also done same because the circumstances you brought them. Now you are bringing them. They are too old. How can they can be advisors. How can you make Alabi, Professor Alabi, who is more stronger? When it comes to the party structure, Professor Alabi is bigger and strong. I'm talking about party structure graph than John Dramani Mahama. You make such a person your campaign manager. A campaign manager is somebody that you can send, somebody that you can shout at, somebody that the candidate can say, look, what are you doing? Go here and go and do this. Can he do that to Professor Alabi? Professor Alabi.
But Professor Alabi should submit himself to the
No.
president. Professor Alabi has never been president of Ghana.
Yes,
John
but,
Mahama has been president of
per
Ghana.
our party structure and chain in line and seniority, Alabi carries certain cloud in his own capacity that he's good as an advisor. You think if Alabi was an advisor, sitting back on a chair, looking at the direction the president is going, an advisor, and he has a party chairman and a party campaign manager, like, let's say, a free Ankara, let's say...
I get the point.
Are you getting me? He can tell the president that he shouldn't be making such statement. President, come. You see, when you go, if every region, every town, every place have the language that they speak, and any political party that is in opposition, that is running a campaign like they are already in government, they can't win an election. They are running, the NDC is running behind the candidate like Shatawale with his team. Like it's a superstar, a movie star. They are not running. And as a former president, you can be groomed. You can be tamed. As a former president, you can be tamed. You have an experience. Your language should be different from somebody who wants to be president. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is running the campaign like he has never been president. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is campaigning like he is an opposition leader who now wants to take power. The NDC, now look, you have traveled. When they have built a party around one person, if John Dramani Mahama is not, if he's not at a particular place, the party is in. Look at Napo. Immediately he hit the ground. He has gone certain places. Is that not so? And two, they say Napo is arrogant.
Yes.
There is arrogance in every man. There is pride in every man. For the fact that everybody have anger. Don't judge me for the fact that I'm holding this cup. Don't judge me when I'm holding this cup that it may be alcohol. Judge me when I put this bottle cup down. What is my action and inaction? What is my behavior? And people are not voted for just for character. If not, vote for pastors to be president. Sometimes as a leader, you have to be tough.
Jesus Christ went to the church and tore down
and kick everything
the
away.
games that they were playing.
There is anger in everybody. And the Nkrumah thing that he said, believe me, when Nkrumah had a political party, he had opposition, there were opposition leaders and opposition who didn't believe in Nkrumah.
Yes.
Is that not so?
Correct.
We Ghanaians, we are paying allegiance to the constitution and the freedom of this. It wasn't also only Nkrumah who gained it. He was the leader of the team, we agree.
Yes.
But it took collective people to give us independence. Are you getting me? Yeah, so people have the right, even Jesus Christ. Some people don't believe that it's Jesus Christ that created we human beings. Does it mean people have the right to say, I don't believe in Nkrumah. If you go to the north, all the tribal war that you can see is either under UP or CPP migrating to PNC, migrating to today NDC.
Yeah.
So you cannot let them, just as today, you cannot let the Kusasi that they are believing in the MPP because it is Nkrumah that gave them independence. It is UP that took the chieftaincy away from them. Nkrumah to us is flawed. Nkrumah distilled some chiefs
He did,
So
yes.
as Nkrumah also installed some chiefs. Nkrumah made sure some people were, that is how Ghanaians wrote, intimidated certain people, locked them for not believing in him. So if a politician say, I don't believe in Nkrumah, they are not socialists. They don't believe. We are not worshiping Nkrumah as God. We praise him and give him credit for being part and parcel of giving us independence. It doesn't mean that he wasn't criticized when he was president. He wasn't criticized when, are you getting me? So if Napo makes certain statement, that is his statement. I don't think, and MPP, which is a capitalist party, has done more social intervention than all the social democratic political parties in this country. Okay? Now, we're moving forward. So I think that we should educate the youth, because we've all been brainwashed that besides Nkrumah, but he wasn't the only person. Like the northern region, I enjoyed the free education. Nkrumah gave the northerners the scholarship to either the first pioneers that he trained, the first secondary school in Tamale, that Nkrumah put there, because no teacher, no doctor, nobody wanted to go to the north. Those days, me, my age, at the age of, I'm 49 today, when I was growing up, going to school in Kumasi, it took us 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, sometimes from Kumasi to Boku. And there was only one Tonchini. That was the only transport.
The road,
yes.
trekking the road.
Yes, I'm talking about from 83. Yes, ask anybody. It was only one Tonchini or the Tata bus, but we're getting the one Tonchinis. Are you getting me? So if today, the first...
That's the bone shaker.
The bone shaker. Then Nkrumah gave us scholarship to train our own. We have our own teachers, because nobody wanted to go there. And the first educated people, which is Alhaji Dusu Mama, they were the first people who went to secondary school. Most of them, immediately they got that education, they ran away and left the north. They didn't use the education to implement what Nkrumah gave us. They had the eye open. They only came and built mansions and married more women. That is why today, by the illiterate states, that is why if you go to Tamale in the northern region today, most of the infrastructure and the businesses belongs to illiterates. So the education didn't do us the good thing, the good vision that Nkrumah had for us. If they had
because the beneficiaries left.
Thank you. If they had stayed
but they came into government
and gave us the robust.
Yeah, but they came into government.
Yes, but what did they do? They never did anything.
Hassan, they were in government for a long time.
They were in Accra here.
Yes.
They built their mansions here. They had their...
But they brought their children back to Tamale. Mumuni Baumia brought Mahamadou, Mahama brought John Mahama.
Yes.
They brought their children back to the north to study there.
That is very true. And most of their houses... I mean, what I'm saying is beyond them. Alhaji Dusu Mama, Dr. Baumia's father, John Dramani Mahama's father, they came back and established jobs. But I'm speaking beyond them. If they train about 200 people, I'm giving an example, Nkrumah, then you only have few. Because the north is...
Let me wrap it up. So how is this election going?
This election...
Do we still have... Do you need more months to now tell us what may happen?
This election is... The dynamics are different. Religious will play a role, okay? And I tell my NDC people, don't be that... You want to square the false or action of... bad leadership. There is bad leadership in any government. For instance, the JIDA, the how do you call it? JIDA... Sada and all those, and that Saglemi and all those. Today, it's an equation to the whole that is being dug there if you want to go. I get what I'm trying to say.
I get it. I'm sure that
so this election, there will be a whole lot of dynamics.
Get ready, social media, I'm coming to you.
There's a whole lot of dynamics that will play. This election is not going to be a fine boy issue.
What's fine boy?
Today, me, you can sit at the comfort of your the digital digitalization is going to play a role. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
But I'll give my Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia credit that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has really matured, has shown that he's ready to lead in terms of his communique, his body language, his sincerity, looking in the eyes of Ghanaians and telling that I will do this as a president. Are you getting me? He has his own vision beside the party.
Yeah.
And I think that the NDC itself has a lot of internal reconciliation to do. Look, we were defeated 2016 over 1 million, very humiliating. 2020, we were defeated. We didn't even have we couldn't collect our result 2020, my brother. The truth of that, we didn't have enough pink sheets. And the results that we had, Asiedun Ketia couldn't have used those results to go and sit in the court at the election petition. That is why he said it is not ready yet. Are you getting me? So now you are in opposition. You have not been able to put structures in. Now, look at there's disarray in the party. There is no one. Some are not willing to work because the president is saying that he will cut ex gratia. Even the decision that John Dramani Mahama is taking, it's not making him attractive. The members of parliament, it's a contract. What they have is the ex gratia. And you are cancelling the ex gratia. What should they take home? If I'm a member of parliament, I go and take a loan, come and contest an election. I've lost my primaries. The car note that they give me some credit. You are cancelling it. So it has even made him unattractive in the NDC. If you want, we talk at the background. Are you getting me? Now, reducing the size of your government, it's not the prerogative of to say that you are going to keep it. Politics is business. People you sit your ministers down and ask, you are not going to take ex gratia, are you going to cut this? This country is not a bona fide property of an individual. The Constitution, that's why democracy is very expensive.
Yes.
Very, very the most expensive democracy. We want democracy. We don't want revolution. But it's expensive because the entitlements and bonuses and certain structures. It comes with it. That's what makes it.
But it gives us sustainable government.
Yes.
And it gives us predictability.
Yes. If I'm a minister and I'm entitled to describe that I need security guards, I need this, it's part and parcel of the job.
Okay, let me leave it here. Let me leave it here and let them. Answer, do you have a question for him? I see you are looking at him. You don't have any question for him? Okay, so let's read the text messages and we'll be wrapping up on that. Patty, you again first. What are people saying?
All right, so coming from Dominica City, says NDC has nothing to offer Ghanaians. Even if the NPP is not the best option, they are far better than NDC. At least we have free SHS, which is the best social intervention by any government in our history. Mohammed Nuruddin also says that Atubiga is too much. He's very intelligent. Now, lastly, coming from NX Clinton, it says facts and nothing but facts. I said time and time again that JM is not a candidate that can wrestle power from opposition, and it's clearly showing. DMB aside, the fact that he has support from the state is very serious on the ground, but that can't be said about JM. The NDC just wants the defeat of JM, that's all.
Boadu, he's asking if Dr. Atubiga is now...
I graduated the doctorate in prison.
Sorry.
3 days.
Okay.
I'm Atubiga Stephen. I'm not a doctor.
All right.
I want to make that correction.
All right. So he wants to know if you are now campaigning for Baumia. That's the question I have here.
And they ask whether you're not campaigning for Baumia.
Yes,
I would love to answer such questions.
Yes. So tell us, are you campaigning for Baumia?
Today, we are privileged to have two Northerners, my big brothers, that have given the opportunity to lead this country. And we want both of them. We would take a decision at the last minute to decide who will, because we want a Northerner we don't want the freebies. We want both, whether we like it or one of them will be president in this country. We want them to give all the national cake to the country, but they should they will come and make the environment just like the Nigerians. You see the Nigerians, they are poor, the houses. They took the refinery to the northern sector. They created the environment that they will no more migrating to the cities. Everybody, that's why you have the Dangotes and what have you. So among both of them, whoever that will create the environment just like the Ashanti region here, that they give incentives for people to come and set up factories. They give incentives for people so that there will be a lot of like the replica of the KIA centers in the northern sector. Definitely, that is what we'll be looking at. But they all have the capacity. But here is the case that we have a new kid on the block, which is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So it's still too early. But if I criticize both political parties, are you getting me? But he is a new kid with new ideas, what have you. So in terms of who are we campaigning for and we will not campaign for, we will endorse the one that we think is the right person that Northerners should support, all Northerners should support in the interest of us.
Let them go on. Please go on with the messages.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jeffrey or Jeff says, Mr. Atubiga, you actually have your own political party and you want to win the election, but anytime you get a chance, it seems you do not market your party at all. You always talk good about Baumia and the NPP. Why is that? I'm sure he has...
What's the next? Is that all?
No. Gabriel, your boss says, he has corrected that. Mr. Stephen Atubiga, do well to get your followers on board. history is about to be made, and we need all the hands we can get. The elephant is coming. And Emmanuel Adom Otchere says this is his take home from tonight. The election is not going to be fine boy issues by Mr. Stephen Atubiga. Cornelius Opokubenso says Mr. Atubiga is really talking as a politician. He has really impressed me. He has spoken well with fact and truth. This is what the NDC and their stalwarts are scared of saying. And that's all for me. Back to you, Paul.
All right, we have to wrap. It's past
my
11:30.
last
Very last one.
Today, in this country, President Nana under President Nanado, I have had the privilege to tour all the 275 constituencies. Roads are like macaroni. I'm talking about asphalt roads.
They're like macaroni.
Roads are like macaroni. Okay? Bridges and interchanges are like umbrellas. Okay? And if we will not, it's only that the communication sector that has failed. Based on the projects that I've seen, the communication sector has failed in selling the projects. Are you getting me? Today, based on the bridges and the interchanges that I've seen, those that are, if they are able to, which, are you getting me? They have done more interchanges than any, besides Nkrumah, and they've done more interchanges in this country than any other government. They have constructed more roads. Places that don't even, every corner there's a road network. Every corner, I'm talking about there's an ongoing road or it's being finished, which is asphalt. So if you sit in Accra here as a communicator, living in Trazako, buying the price of Trazako Kenke, okay, sleeping, running pipe water in the villages, my brother, if you sink full, I'm talking about digging of boreholes. When water bills goes up, it doesn't affect the average Ghanaian in Alabanyo, Kokofu, Aberbesokrum, Jasikai, Mim. Borehole, they don't pay water bill. So if you're in Accra here, you have water washing your car in the morning, that they don't have it. And you sit in and think, election is not won in Accra. They should go into the interlands and hear what those that have gotten the free fertilizers, those that the planting for food and jobs have impacted them, those that, I'm not saying the government is perfect, but NDC, my people should wear the red lens and call a spade that there is nothing like a perfect government, there is nothing like a perfect president, there will never be like a perfect government, but we should learn, that's the NLC, to give credit to where it's due and give constructive criticism in terms of solutions. Don't be praying that your opponent will make the wrong thing. If you go to the pumps, that's the gas station, they don't say this is NLC's queue. They don't say this is MPP queue. This is, I get me. But don't narrow praising of another government. So my party, I was attacked on Friday, okay, on my way home. But in a nutshell, for the fact that you are praising the government that has done the right thing, doesn't mean that you've been paid or been bought. So it's my party, my mother party is saying that common sense is being sold. People don't have the right to, anybody that speaks sense means they have been bought. Is that how they want to equate it? Were they buying sense?
Okay.
When we're in government?
Let me.
And where were we that they didn't buy us to have that space? We're speaking that sense for free. Today, look, and if you're a political party and you train a dog to bite,
to bite you.
There is a day that it will bite you because you go and wine with the enemy. You come with that perfume. So you must respect that. You don't
like wine with the enemy, you come without perfume.
We come with the perfume of the enemy in the house.
So the dog will bite you.
It's just like when Tornado was speaking sense. He was weeks outside the country. Like a brand new Porsche. Now they brought him back like an antique vehicle who cannot do. I get where I'm coming.
Where's Tornado though?
He's there. He's an old now. I'm trying to. He was a fine young old man that was very strong. They took him outside the country. They brought him and realized that he was making sense. Are you getting me? Now when he's on the studio speaking, it's like Numba or is in his older days now. Are you getting me? He's not speaking with the strength and what have you. But if they had maintained him here and they used those knowledge that they have, they would have built the party to be on track. So John Dramani Mahama needs me, Atubiga. I'll sit here and tell you people that 2028, I will support Asiedu Nketia to lead the party as the presidential candidate.
Why?
We need somebody not to win an election, but to rebrand, revamp the party, put the party back in its value where it belongs to. The party should represent the face, not sheep in wolf's clothes. You say you are socialist and you are leading a capitalist life. Who are you fooling? People called me. That how can we go to Kimpiski? If this is in opposition, no. Then when we are in government, we'll be having meetings. What's the most expensive hotel in this country? It means we'll be having meetings there. And we, those that will suffer for the part, we can't get closer. And no, now, the Hoyes and Co have shown that you have to bring a bargaining on the table. Your bargaining chip on the table. So why should others to work? But if we bring a cadre, a grassroots person, somebody who understands that the interest, if an NDC person shouldn't be looking wretched, for you to be looking wretched, raggedy, not looking good, show that you are a real grassroots person. They should bring somebody that will grow with the members of the party, that will pull them together, pull the members along. And I say that, Asierun Ketia, that is why some of us, we vote for him to be chairman, but look as if his arm is being twisted here and there. But we are with him, the struggling that he's doing to change the party. I will support him for him to lead the party so that we will revamp the party. Once we bring value into the party, an average foot soldier can afford his 3-month salary to 1 year, can afford for them to participate in the internal election of the party. Then we know we are back to track where Rawlings wanted us to be or has wanted us to be. Then we can come together. But at this moment, the NDC, I'm telling the members, when they come and they don't have what it takes to collect results, okay? They don't have what it takes. They are not able to put the party together. The party is divided more than cut oranges that you split or yam from cucumber market that has been split for frying. They are lying. They are not ready for election. They don't have what it takes to collect an election. And an election director should be able that when they made you a minister, you build people who will be willing to sacrifice for you in the village. You don't know you that I'm going to take a bullet. There should be parts and parcel of it. So the NDC, I'm telling you now, my members, I'm telling the grassroots, they are lying. They are not. They don't have what it takes. Forget of the TV. Until you see leadership, you see Fraser Bafu, you see Kwabena Dufo, you see Sylvester Mensah and Co. You see Joe Ajeho, you see John Jerasa, you see all the former presidential candidates being on radio speaking the vote for the party. Until you see them, because they are all waiting for their cuts, they are all waiting to be part of the equation. That is why you see the party is divided. So John Dramani Mahama is not turning back to make sure that to put the interests of the party in terms of doing reconciliation. Dr. Martin Hamidou and Co., Baba Kamara and Co., all the big names that they've all, and NDC can never win an election without there are people that have always won election for the party. All of them have been put on the side. So and look, when I say Adom Otchere went for Akologo's funeral, he looked for former minister, John Tia. Yes. Adom Otchere looked for all the formal members of parliament that he started with, including my biological father, Stephen Atubiga, shook hands with them, and individual called them to corner and said, look, I am in opposition. I am holding grounds for you people. You people should look up to me. Are you getting me? Things are not good, but this is what the bread that I have for all of them. And that is what comradeship means. Comradeship means if you don't feed, I don't feed. You check on each other, have you eaten? Today, what have we done? We've seen those that don't have constituency. They have never been impacted to anybody. They don't have the clout following John Dramani Mahama. Look at when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is moving. When you see Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia moving, he shows that he's hungry. He has gone to reach those who have fallen. I'm talking the former general secretary of the party. He has brought all of them on board.
He does, yeah. That's really good.
It shows, and I want to use the opportunity to also talk to my big brother, Apia Kubi, my very good friend. I think he should do the honorary and call Napo and say, Napo, you were not my choice, but in the interest of the party that they've made you a running mate, I am with you. Give me a role to play in the interest of making sure that we win. Your win is my win. So as I expect Napo, as he has hit the ground running, he should call all those who are against him, all those who think he couldn't do the work. Napo should call them and ask them, what role do you want to play under my wing as the running mate? Come and let's work together. And that is how I think somebody has to trigger what you should say. And the NDC should, I'm not afraid to stick my neck now that they should learn Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's style of campaigning.
I have to leave it here.
Yes.
It's 11:40.
Yes. And sorry. Those who think that I am campaigning for NLC,
yeah,
I am not the one who will tell people that it's the grand, for instance, my executives, they are all on the trenches. It's a privilege given for us to come and sit here that I came. Are you getting me?
Yes, but they are working.
But they are working, and I'll call a spade a spade.